welcome to another episode of the Chaos Chronicles.
Navigating the randomness.
I'm Jess.
I'm Connie.
And this week we are jumping back in for more Breaking Dawn.
That's right. And for those watching on YouTube, this is Bear.
This is Bear. Well, you can watch on Spotify too, so.
I keep forgetting that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Bear.
That's Bear.
It's all about him today.
It is. And I'm recognizing that he is here not because it's me, but because my laptop is warm.
Mm-hmm.
I understand.
Yeah. That's what cats do best.
We didn't do it in the last episode. Before we forget, please be sure to check out all of our social medias linked in the description below. We would very much appreciate a like, subscribe, and follow. Hit that notification bell so you can be informed when our new videos come out.
Yes. All right. Well, do we do a little mini summary about what happened?
Bella's pregnant.
Yeah.
Edward thinks it's an it. Bella calls Rosalie and says, "Help."
Yeah.
That's it.
Cool. Okay. So now we are getting into chapter 8 and 9. Chapter 8, waiting for the damn fight to start already. And I don't like swearing, but it is in the title. Okay. So we are in Jacob's perspective now.
With the awful chapter titles, yeah.
I know. I could go on a tangent about how these just make me mad. Oh, sorry. Before chapter 8, I almost skipped the preface. Quote, "Life sucks and then you die. Yeah, I should be so lucky." End quote.
That's it.
That's it.
That's apt for a teenage/adult boy. I don't really know what he's supposed to fall into anymore.
Both.
Yeah. He mentally apparently is physically 25. I don't. Stephanie, explain.
Okay. But now we're into chapter 8.
Yes.
So we're in Jacob's perspective. Paul is at Jacob's house, and Paul is very obviously trying to irritate Jacob, and Jacob ends up punching him in the face. Paul ends up resetting his nose before it heals itself. And Paul compliments Jacob on being so fast, and then he turns his attention back to the TV that he was watching. Paul used to fight anytime anyone would even just throw an insult his way, but now he's all mellow. Because he has imprinted as well.
Of course.
Uh-huh. Yep, so Paul has imprinted on Jacob's sister, Rachel.
Ha! I forget that Jacob has two older sisters. Two older sisters.
Yeah, because the other one's Rebecca. And I read that, I was like, she's married.
Oh,
it's the other sister.
Oh, I forgot. Ooh.
I know.
Awkward.
I was so confused for the longest time reading this. It took me until I think Jacob talks about Rebecca briefly. I was like, oh, there's two. There's two.
Which begs the question, can Rebecca know about all this? Or is she not looped in?
Well, because Rachel wasn't going to know anything, and Jacob and Billy were all anxious about her coming back to visit from college, and they can't say anything. But because Paul imprinted to her, now they can tell her everything.
Right. I don't love that.
I don't either.
No, as one of 3 children right now, let me tell you, if there is something going on, especially of this nature and level, and like one of my sisters and one of my parents knew about it, and they're like, you can't tell the rest of the family, I'd be like,
excuse you?
So family means nothing to all of us, I guess. we don't, what?
Yeah. So Jacob is obviously very annoyed that Paul has imprinted on Rachel, but he is glad that he doesn't have to keep the secrets from Rachel.
That's gotta be awkward, because any of the thoughts that Paul has about Rachel his sister. Jacob's got to know that.
I know. I'm like, there's got to be a lot in Paul's mind that just is now out to the rest of the pack to know.
I would hate that. Like in Rachel's situation, I'd be like, wait a minute, how much gets shared over the wolf bond? Because like, is every like intimate moment, not even just like physical intimate, but like emotionally intimate moment, is that broadcast?
Right.
Because then I'd be like, okay, I love you. I'm not telling you nothing. Like, no, I don't want a bunch of people, especially because anyone can join. I'm sorry, I have to be loud because the mic is farther away. Because anyone can join the pack, and like, what if it's someone in the tribe that you didn't like before, and then all of a sudden they get to know everything?
Right.
Absolutely not.
Yep. So Paul isn't leaving, so Jacob decides to go to his room. His mind is just racing, thinking about Bella and how it's been 4 weeks now and he hasn't heard anything. He then went to think on how they would spin it. Bella and her husband go missing. They're in an accident. Maybe he would even come home by himself. He continues to think on how he would take Edward himself, just the two of them. Just fight him. No matter what, Bella would either come back one of them or not at all. Either way, a human life will be lost and it's game on. Paul starts laughing in the other room. He tries to kick him out. Jacob tries to kick him out, but when that doesn't work, Jacob ends up leaving. If he stays, it would be too tempting to hit him again, and Rachel would be upset. Jacob walked along the first beach and walked until he found Quill. Quill was on the south end with Claire and was trying and failing to keep her out of the water. Claire and Quill greet Jacob, and Claire tells him that her mom is not there. It's just been her and Quill playing all day.
Because she's like, what, 3, 4 at this
She's
point?
3. Yep. Claire had turned 3 since Jacob saw her last. Jacob asks Quill if he had ever considered dating, until Claire grows up at least, because she would understand. Quill hadn't thought about it, but he doesn't see anyone in that way anymore. He doesn't notice girls at all, really, anymore. Quill then asks if Jacob had thought about dating, and when he doesn't answer, Quill tells him he should think about getting a life. A howl far away sounds. It's Sam. Jacob offers to go see what it is and will let him know if he's needed. Jacob takes off, and when Jacob is out of sight of everybody, he phases. It is Jacob, Paul, Sam, Seth, and Leah who are currently phased, and Jacob tells Sam where the others are. Seth tells them that Charlie called around trying to find Billy, and he was at the Clearwaters. Charlie was panicked. Edward and Bella got home last week. Charlie has talked to Bella, but she sounds really bad. Supposedly, she is sick with some rare South American disease and she's quarantined. Charlie wanted to go and see her, but Carlisle won't budge and isn't allowing any visitors. Charlie is going crazy and said that Bella sounded worse today. I feel so bad for Charlie.
Charlie's the real victim in everything here, guys.
Honestly.
He was just a regular small town cop. He liked his sports. He was emotionally stunted. Didn't know how to be a girl dad, but tried his best.
He did try his best.
And now all this.
He didn't deserve that.
No.
Team Charlie. Forever.
Team Charlie.
You were right, Jody. Team Charlie.
Very much so.
Gosh. So, at this, all the wolves were mentally silent. They all understood what this meant. Jacob guesses that Charlie will think that she died of this disease and would wait until Bella could hold still and keep from killing Charlie and the others before allowing people to see her body and have a funeral for her. Which, I mean, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jacob then asks what they're waiting for. The treaty is broken.
You don't know that, honey. Assumptions kill. No.
So Sam points that out. It is circumstantial evidence, and it might be strong, but is Jacob sure that that is what he wants? Is this the right thing? After all, it is what Bella wanted.
Go, Sam.
Yeah. And then Seth points out that they aren't their enemies.
Go, Seth.
I'm a couple chapters beyond this chapter now, and I'm like, I really love Seth. I love him so much.
He is such a cutie.
Oh, and if Stephanie ruins him, I'm gonna be pissed.
I don't remember.
Okay, that's fair.
That doesn't mean much, though.
I
Because
know,
again,
it doesn't
something
mean
could have been I
much.
could have skipped.
Yeah. As we've learned, Connie likes to skip a lot of things.
I value my free time, and I don't want to spend my free time reading something that's going to make me mad. So, flip, 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 flip.
And life goes on. But not here.
No, I have been. This is like exposure therapy. I'm forced to sit through the parts that I skipped.
You're welcome.
God, this is,
Yeah.
of all the things you and I have done together, all projects, this might be the most soul sucking. And we've cleaned up literal bodily fluids. Not our own.
Nope.
Strangers at the water park we worked at. That, catching mice in the bathroom. I would take all of that over having to reread Twilight.
Well, you're lucky that it's me rereading and summarizing for you to relive.
Well, reading for the first time, me reliving
Yeah.
is... I do not want my children to read these books.
Me either, gosh.
You're like, they're on the banned book list. Not because like, ooh, it's cool and like I'm trying to reverse psychology and make you want to read it. No, it's banned. Because it's banned. No.
No.
No, I'd
Oh,
rather...
it's so bad.
It's so bad.
There are a lot of other books that are probably viewed as worse for teenagers to read that I would rather
Catcher in the Rye.
them read than this.
To Kill a Mockingbird. To Kill a Mockingbird is a good book. I hate that some schools have pulled that.
I know.
They're like, it's too controversial and it makes people uncomfortable. I'm like, that's the
why
point.
it's in the curriculum.
Like, learning does not occur in the comfort zone.
Unfortunately not.
No.
Nope. So Seth asks what he'll do when Bella fights with them. Will he be the one to take her down? Jacob hesitates. And Seth continues that Jacob wouldn't be able to. So what then? One of the others has to do that, and then he'll hold a grudge on them for the rest of their lives? Jacob's not actually ready for this fight. And this is coming from Seth. Like, go Seth.
Team Charlie, Team Seth.
Oh, I love Seth. Quill all of a sudden pops in and asks what he missed. Because he dropped off Claire.
I love that. That's like joining a Zoom meeting late at work and it was a meeting about mass layoffs. You come in like, hey guys, happy Friday. What's going on?
Yep.
Same vibes.
Yeah. So Jacob tells him that they're getting ready to go. They'll need everyone. Sam orders Quill to come directly there. They haven't decided anything. Sam has to think about what's best for the pack, and that means choosing what protects them the best. Times have changed since the treaty, and Sam doesn't believe that the Cullens are a danger to them. And after all, they'll have a cover story soon and will probably end up leaving. Once they do, their lives will return to normal. Jacob tries to continue to push Sam, but Sam tells him to stop. He has been overruled. His voice changes to the voice of the alpha. Quote, "The pack is not attacking the Cullens without provocation. The spirit of the treaty remains. They are not a danger to people, nor are they a danger to the people of Forks. Bella Swan made an informed choice, and we are not going to punish our former allies for her choice." End quote.
Good job, Sam. That is a leader. You are thinking. You are not going off of emotion purely. I appreciate that. And as someone studying law, I appreciate that he's like, in the spirit of the contract, yeah, we like that.
Mm-hmm. I can't fully get behind this because I know what happens, so I can't. But we'll get there. But yeah, yay for now.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what comes next, and I'm skipping too far ahead.
Yeah. So Seth agrees enthusiastically with this. Jacob starts to turn his back on the pack, saying that he's going to tell Billy goodbye. There's no reason for him to stick around anymore. Seth tells him to not do that again, and immediately several voices tell him to shut up. Sam tells Jacob they don't want him to leave, but Sam won't take away his will and make him stay. Jacob ran. Once he was within jogging distance of his house, he shifted back, wanting to think in private. He succeeded in his plan. He hid what he was thinking, and now it was too late for Sam to stop him. He couldn't hear him anymore. Quote, "Sam had made a very clear ruling. The pack would not attack the Cullens. Okay. He hadn't mentioned an individual acting alone. Nope, the pack wasn't attacking anyone today. But I was." End quote, end of chapter 8. Oh, Jacob. Jacob, Jacob, Jacob.
I get where he's coming from, because technically, yeah, but that is some juvenile reasoning.
That is some you needed a loophole. You knew you needed a loophole.
Yeah, shitesy is what comes to mind. Yeah, nope, that's, there's a time and a place for that, and I get it, but that is a reckless move that could potentially put the rest of your pack in danger. Because if something happened to Carlisle, who seems to be the only true, moral backbone of that group, then what? You got an upset Emmett and Jasper running at you?
You in trouble.
You are so in trouble.
Yeah.
And even Rosalie to it. Alice
would come for you.
Actually, that's not as scary because she can't predict their moves.
Anything else on chapter 8?
Nah, let's cook it into chapter 9.
Okay. Chapter 9. Sure as hell didn't see that one coming. These titles are going to get me. Jacob didn't really plan on saying goodbye to Billy, though. He could call Sam and then it would all be over. But Billy was there waiting for him. He asks if Jacob can help him inside. It was a long way from Sue's and his arms are tired. Quote, "It's downhill. You coasted the whole way." I rolled his chair up the little ramp I'd made for him into the living room. Caught me. Think I got up to about 30 miles per hour. It was great.
I'm just envisioning Billy downhill just woo-wee.
I know, that was me too.
Which, that's not a judgment. Were I in the position where I was able to do that? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Plus, if you're already paralyzed from the waist down, it's like, well, the potential bad outcomes are a lot less.
Right?
I get a good story out of it.
Yeah. And then continuing quote with Jacob, "You're going to wreck that chair, and then you'll be dragging yourself around by your elbows." Not a chance. It'll be your job to carry me. End quote.
Oh, I love it.
Any happy moment like this, I'm like, I have to include, because how can you not include when you're surrounded by dum-dums?
Yeah.
So Billy asks if there's any food left in the house, and Jacob tells him Paul was here all day, so probably not. They talk for a little bit, and Jacob tries to leave. Billy asks if there was an update. Jacob tells him nothing happened. Guess we're all just a bunch of leech lovers now, but he doesn't want to talk about it. Billy asked if he's leaving again, because it's okay if he needs a break, but then he pleads for him to not be so long this time. Billy asks where he's going this time, and Jake tells him that he doesn't have a plan in mind, but Billy's eyes narrowed. He knew. He tells Jake to leave Bella and the Cullens be. It isn't worth it. Jacob crossed the room and disconnected the cable from the phone and left. Billy called after him, but Jacob got on his motorcycle and drove. It wasn't as fast as running, but it was more discreet. Jacob wondered how long it would take Billy to get to the store or for Paul to come back. But he wouldn't worry about that. He would go as fast as he could, and if he gets caught, he'll deal with it then.
Wait, when you say disconnected the cable from the phone, did he like rip the phone out of the wall?
That's what it sounded like.
Got it. So it wasn't clear.
Yeah, like so Billy can't, or maybe it was too high up and Billy couldn't reach it or something.
Yeah, I can see him doing that.
Yeah. Once he was close enough, he slowed down to think about what he was going to do exactly. They would hear him coming, and once he was close enough, Edward would hear him. He might actually already be able to. He decided he would challenge Edward to a duel, and then once he finished with Edward, he would take as many with them as he could. Carlisle was at the door waiting for him and greeted him. Jacob was disappointed. He would have rather Edward been waiting for him. Jacob tells him he heard that Bella made it back alive. Carlisle tells him it's not the best time. Bella's voice cracked behind him, asking if they're keeping secrets from Jacob now too. What's the point? So she tells Jacob to come in. Jacob steps in, and as he passed Carlisle, he thought of all of them, he would stay away from Carlisle when the fight started. Everyone loves Carlisle. Everyone was here, and Jacob froze at the expression on Edward's face. He looked half crazed, like someone lit him on fire. He then looks to Bella. She was still human. But then he noticed the circles under her eyes. She was thinner, and a layer of sweat covered her. She looked so fragile, and she was very sick. So it wasn't a lie after all. Rosalie hovered over Bella in a protective manner. But why would this be? Bella was scared of her, but she didn't seem to be now. None of this made sense. Jacob asked what was wrong. Bella tells him that she is glad that he came to see her today. Bella asked Rosalie to help her up, but Jacob tells her to not get up, though. She looks so frail. Bella snaps at him that she's answering his question. Rosalie got Bella up. She was pregnant, very pregnant. Whatever was inside of her was a monster, just like its father. Jacob thought, quote, I always knew he would kill her, end quote. At that, Edward's head snapped up and tells Jacob, outside. Which this is not what I was expecting, by the way.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
Yep.
I know this next part. I'm wondering if you're going to pick up, because I didn't pick up on it the first time I read it, because I was a kid. But now I saw a video where they're like, hey, did I read this section right? And like one of the known Twilight content creators was like, yeah, no, you're reading it right. He's asking Jacob for this. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, that whole time, I think I read through it like 5 times and I'm like, no. No, like I'm understanding what I'm reading, but there is no way we're talking about. So we'll get there in a second. Mm-hmm. Oh gosh. So Edward tells Bella that he needs to talk to Jacob and they'll both be back in a few minutes. After a while, Bella nodded and then sat back down. Bella tells Jacob to behave, and come back, but he didn't answer. Once outside, Edward tells Jacob he isn't ready for Jacob to kill him just yet. He needs to have a little patience. Edward turned around, and once again, his expression made Jacob pause. He asks Edward to confirm that Bella is dying. It's killing her. Edward tells him it's his fault. His knees give out, and Edward crumples to the floor and continues that it is killing her, but Bella won't let them take it out of her. Quote, "Of course, die from the monster spawn. It was so Bella." End quote. Edward continues, Jacob knows her well. He didn't see that in time. Bella wouldn't talk to him on the way home. He assumed that Bella was scared or even angry for him putting her life in danger, but it wasn't until his family met them at the airport and Bella ran into Rosalie's arms. He didn't even understand it until he heard Rosalie's mind. Jacob tells him Bella isn't that strong, they could force her. Edward tells him that he wanted to and Carlisle would have, but Bella's bodyguards have complicated things. And now Emmett and Esme are also backing them up, and now Carlisle won't help with Esme, so against it.
Who were the initial? So Rose was one, and then was Emmett another one?
Emmett and Esme.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Edward continues that they didn't know this would happen. None of them did. But even Jacob cannot hate him as much as he hates himself. But killing him won't save her. Then he asks Jacob to talk to her. She won't listen to him, Edward. Bella thinks that Edward underestimates her, and she believes that she is strong enough to handle this. But she might listen to Jacob. Jacob doesn't understand, though. He would just tell her the same things that Edward has. Edward tells him that he can offer her what she wants. He doesn't care about anything but keeping her alive. If she wants a child, she can have it. She can have anything she wants. She can have puppies if that's what it takes. But not this. This is taking her life from her. Jacob has to make her see reason. She won't listen to Edward anymore, and Rosalie is constantly there to encourage her. Jacob didn't know if he was suggesting Jacob and Bella have a baby, or if he was giving her up, or for them to what? Share her? Edward answers him, whichever, whatever keeps her alive. She loves him. Yeah. She is ready to die to have a child, so maybe she'd accept something less extreme. But he needs Jacob to convince her and make her see sense. Jacob tried to not, but images came anyways.
Oh.
He imagined them together and Bella pregnant with his child. Uh-huh.
I totally skimmed through this on initial reading.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So Edward's been thinking about this for a while now, but he didn't know how to contact Jacob, and he was actually planning on tracking Jacob down soon if he hadn't come today. But Edward can't leave Bella as this is progressing really fast. They aren't sure what it is, but it is already stronger than Bella. Edward is begging Jacob now to help him. Jacob couldn't believe this. Bella would punch him again for suggesting it, and he didn't want her to break her hand again. He should just kill Edward now. Edward whispers, "Not yet. It would destroy her. And if she won't listen to him, he'll get his chance. The moment Bella's heart stops beating, he will beg Jacob to kill him." Jacob tells him he won't have to beg for long. Edward gives a faint, worn smile and tells him he is counting on it. Quote, "Then we have a deal." He nodded and held out his cold stone hand. Swallowing my disgust, I reached out to take his hand, My fingers closed around the rock, and I shook it once. We have a deal, he agreed. End quote. End of chapter 9.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. So we got a nice short sweep, but oh, was that a chapter?
What are your thoughts before I say my thoughts?
My thoughts might be a little not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the right word is for it, but like, I understand. And maybe it's like the day and age that we're in now with like how popular like surrogacy is and how popular like IVF is and stuff like that and like sperm donation and some people do that, but they're like they ask a really good friend of theirs to help them and do that stuff with them so they can skip all like the big sticker price of going through like IVF and artificial insemination and stuff like that. So in my mind, I get it.
I get it. My hang up is that it's Edward making this choice about Bella.
I know. And see,
And without Bella, actually against Bella.
I do get that part too. At the end of the day, it is Bella's choice. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I want to address the whole like awkward conversation between Edward and Jacob first. I do agree. It is Bella's choice. It's her body. If this baby is gonna kill her, it's gonna kill her. But so it's Bella's body. It's her choice. I do like the idea of bringing it up to her like, hey, you do have other options that probably won't kill you. And
Yeah.
I get the point of like where she doesn't want to get rid of the baby. I do understand that.
Yeah.
I do understand that. I get it.
I could see this conversation that's being had between Edward and Jacob is awkward.
Very.
But like, given the circumstances, it wasn't possible. But like in a real life situation, this would have to be something that you discuss prior to there being a pregnancy.
Right. And they didn't talk about it because they just assumed it wouldn't happen.
Which like I get, but now in my mind, it's for those who are just joining our podcast, hello, welcome. How goes it? For those who have been with us a while, you can probably tell big proponent of bodily autonomy over here. Massive proponent of it. Which is why I've struggled with this reliving of Twilight. And I'm like, oh my God, so bad. Anyway, but the thing that's really bugging me in all this is that it's even a discussion at this point where it's like, no, she has made this decision. She is committed to it. And like, I could not understand the grief of like watching someone go through something that like they didn't have to go through and like it was killing them. I'm not going to pretend I understand that grief. At the same time, what I'm circling back to is like, it's just, it feels so wrong. This conversation's even taking place.
Yeah.
And we have the luxury of, this is so weird. We have the luxury of knowing the going ons of Bella's mind, but Edward, the mind reader, doesn't.
Right.
But she's just so like, I want this child because it's Edward's child. And I'm sure at some point that was explained to Edward and he's just too thick to get it through his skull. But I'm like, she wouldn't even be receptive to like, oh yeah, let's just have Jacob pump a couple kids in her. Oh, don't like that. Don't like that.
He's willing to share her, Connie.
That phrasing. I hate that phrasing.
I know, that's why I put it in there because I was like,
much.
oh,
it's so awful. Share her. You share an ice cream. You share a coffee. You don't share a person.
That's what do you mean?
No. And maybe there's some relationships where it's like polyamory and other stuff. I don't know it. I won't pretend to know it. I don't understand. But like it's again, it's the one-sidedness of Edward making these decisions.
Yeah.
Not Bella. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't like it. I don't like anything that's happening in the books right now. Everything is making me angry. Oh, there's a
Yeah.
quote.
Well, I didn't include quotes, but the sharing her, I'm like, I know for a fact that word was in there.
I would count on Stephanie
Uh,
to use that word.
mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was quote, what was he saying? That Bella should what? Have a baby with me? What? How? Was he giving her up? Or did he think she wouldn't mind being shared? And then Edward's response, whichever, whatever keeps her alive.
Yo, we talk.
Oh, I should
Oh,
continue this quote. Um,
oh.
so then going to Jacob, that's the craziest thing you've said yet, I mumbled. Edward, she loves you. Jacob, not enough. Edward, she's ready to die to have a child. Maybe she'd accept something less extreme.
It's not age. It's your missing the point, Eddie boy.
And then Jacob, don't you know her at all? And then Edward, I know. It's going to take a lot of convincing. That's why I need you. You know how she thinks. Make her see sense.
Oh, you manipulative! No, no.
Why didn't I have that? Whew. I must have been just trying to power through.
The last little bit of nostalgia that was allowing me to be Team Edward. Poof. Look at that.
I can't be team anybody but Charlie or Bear.
He's tracking
Charlie
something.
or Bear. Charlie or Seth.
I will be Team Bear.
Team Bear.
Oh my
What do
god.
you think? Jacob or Edward? No. Okay.
He's like, neither. Cats don't pick. Everyone serves us.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. No, I don't. We're about to get into a series of frustrating chapters. And when we get back to Bella's point of view, it's also frustrating. Like again, interesting stuff happens in the second half of the book, but it's going to be painful.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what I assume waxing is. If you've ever gotten a wax, it's incredibly painful, and then afterwards you get to be smooth, but you got to go through the pain to get to the smooth.
Well, a lot more drama to come. Thanks for joining us for the next 2 chapters. We're powering through. We're getting there.
We're getting there.
Getting close.
It'll be fine. For a little while here, you might be getting shorter episodes. As you saw last week, there was not a Saturday release. There may be 1 or 2 more of those just over the next couple of months. For us here, we have a very busy recording schedule, or an outside recording schedule.
Oh, yeah, our personal lives, what we do. Connie's in school. I'm working full-time, several jobs. And so time has been getting a little tight, and a couple things happened and we weren't able to get that episode out to you guys, but here it is now.
Here it is. We'll keep you guys in the loop of what's going on with that. We do our best to continue with Who Knows What Wednesday episodes, as well as our Saturday book reviews. So we do thank you for your patience as we do take a little bit of time here and there, just because this is not our full-time jobs. But if enough of you like, subscribe, follow, comment, give us suggestions, could be. So if you want more, share us with your friends. No, share the channel with your friends and family. I don't like the word share now. Sharing is caring, not in this context.
Nope, not for that.
Sharing is manipulation.
On that note, thanks for joining us this week. We should see you next week for more. Hopefully not sharing. Bye.
Adios. Edward.